Hi, my name is Jonah, and today I'm going to show you how I built this 512 pixel matrix.
I had a couple options when deciding where I wanted to put this matrix. First one being on my garage. It seems like a pretty obvious choice, despite this thing, that can just be painted black, right? Well, actually, mounting a matrix to a garage is way more complicated because it does still need to work. Also, I don't have the budget to cover this whole thing in pixels, and if I'm just covering a portion, it wouldn't look as cool. Originally, when I bought the matrix mesh, it was meant to be cut and used on the bushes, but I found out that the spacing was too small, so it would just cover like this much of the bush, which kind of defeats the purpose of a net for a bush. So, final decision ended up being, it's gonna cover this window. That's a good spot because that's visible from everywhere around. Since there used to be floodlights here, there are hooks here, and that is perfect for a controller. So a controller will go here, and the cables will run up and be mounted on some hooks that I'm gonna put up there. The way this matrix is wired is for each controller output, the lights go across and then go back. And then they go to the next output, and then they go across, and then they go back. This is a 16 by 32 matrix. So 32 and 32 makes 64. There are only 50 pixels per strand here. So if I wanted to do that, I'd have to add 14 pixels. Oh wait, no, I need to add 15 because the last pixel usually doesn't have any wires that I can solder to. This process was done live for this whole matrix, and it took me about 4 hours to complete.
Alright, now that we have the matrix, all we need is a frame for it. The frame is made of some thin PVC pipe. I wish I used thicker PVC pipe so it wouldn't flex as much. The frame is attached to the matrix mesh with regular cable ties. And there goes my only pipe cutter. I'll have to use other methods of cutting pipes for the rest of this frame. Maybe a hot air gun will soften up the pipe and make it easier to cut. Nope, that just made it harder. But after what felt like forever, I finally got it off. We're gonna skip over me putting on all the cable ties because that's kind of boring. Ah, a saw. Here we go. This'll work.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty indeed, Jonah. That works much better. Now we have an almost finished frame. It still needs to be painted.
Yeah, just like that. Oh, it's a bit bendy.
Now for how the matrix will be mounted. The ladder you see me using here is actually my neighbor's ladder that I stole, and rain was expected that night. So I was rushing to finish with it before he found out.
Alright, so I just put up some Sharpie marks for the holes I'm about to drill, so I can mount these up here.
The mount Jonah is using today is the Mahimna's 1,000 pound capacity heavy duty hammock hanging kit. Ultra durable hooks, carabiners, 4 hammock stand, hammock swing chair, multiple indoor-outdoor suspension ceiling hooks. They were $10 on Amazon, and he says he really likes them.
I'm gonna spray paint it black so it doesn't even show up.
Freaking disappeared. Cool.
There, now you don't even see it.
I don't. That's neat. Is that what you wanted me to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could show you mounting the other one, but it's the same thing, so let's just put up that matrix.
Gotta be a bit careful when carrying this thing.
Here Jonah finds out that the bungee cords are way too long and the matrix will be too low.
Yeah. Grab it, then I'm gonna have you hand it to me.
See? That's way too low.
Clearly this could be mounted on here better.
Indeed it can. That's why it will be mounted with these thingies. Please enjoy this 50-second montage of me installing them. But there's still one problem Jonah has yet to solve. The matrix is bowed in the center because he used PVC for this, and PVC is very flexible. So Jonah is going to install a small hook in the center to make it level.
And now, I should probably grab a black hook so it blends in. Yes, I'm doing this by hand. This one won't be supporting the bulk of the weight. That's why I'm comfortable using a smaller one. That's centered-ish, right? Yeah, okay. So we've got to wrap it around here. Just like that.
Now it's straight.
I want to get the most cable ties on the very top, just because that's the area that really needs the support. Also at these lower levels, it needs cable ties.
For the next 20 minutes, Jonah played with the mount to get it just right, but I don't want to bore you with that, so it's sped up. Alright, now just to test it at night. What the heck? It was working inside. What changed here? Now I have to fix it. But first I'm going to let Jonah give you some context about what voltage drop is and how it affects this matrix.
So, this is the matrix on its frame. Now, normally I would never have the sequence set to all white. But the reason I have it set to all white right now is for demonstration purposes. I think it would make more sense if I show voltage drop by literally showing it to you. Usually it's not very apparent when you are looking at a color. For example, you're not going to notice any voltage drop here. Now, since this is 32 pixels across, that is 64 pixels. It's recommended that you inject power after 50 on 5-volt pixels.
But let's see how that actually affects the way it looks.
So you can see the difference in color between these 2 pixels. They should be the exact same. This one's a bit more yellow because it's got the voltage drop from it going all the way across and all the way back. Now, why did I do this? That's pretty simple. I didn't want to run 16 different cables across the side here, and channel 16 on this controller is dead. So I have to have it on 8 channels, or else it just doesn't work. Now, on some pixels, they use a bit more energy, so the voltage drop is going to be a bit more apparent.
Now that we understand how voltage drop works, let's delve into this problem. With this type of pixel, this sort of faults is usually caused by a single pixel not outputting data properly to the next pixels in the line. This can usually be fixed by identifying the faulty pixel, removing it, and then soldering in a new one. If you're trying this at home, maybe don't do it late at night like Jonah did here.
Did I blow up a pixel, or did I do that right? No, I did not do that right. Okay, great. This is the wrong side. Ground, right? Data. Is it a bad solder joint? Why didn't that work?
I could show you some more frustration, but a couple days later, Jonah did get it working.